Hey, Donnie and AZ, this is Jaden. Yeah, I'm going to showcase a little bit of backhand English, show you how it works. I'll be using a Brian Fisher custom cue. It's got a 10-inch pivot point. I have it marked on the cue for ease of reference. Let me see. Okay, yeah, it'll be easier to watch from this side of the table. I'm going to show you the shot that Efren was doing when I asked him how he was putting that much shit on the ball and still making it accurately. There's where I've marked the pivot point. A little dot. He was shooting this shot, and it was actually the 8-ball and the 9-ball he was practicing. And it's a straight inch shot. It's about an eighth of an inch off the rail. And he was shooting it like this. He actually came farther down. He was actually like right there on like 10 shots in a row. So I said, what the hell are you doing? Now, of course, this is back in '99. He didn't really speak much English. I guess he might still not, but he really didn't then. So it was actually one of his best buddies, Alex, who now owns a place up in Sticks Billiards up in Rancho Cucamonga, who translated for him. But he said, yeah, you just aim like you're hitting center ball, and then you pivot over for the amount of English that you want. So you aim like you're hitting center ball, and then pivot over for the amount of English that you want, and then stroke straight through the ball. It takes some training because you're changing your stroke position in your stance while maintaining your stance. Now, me, I kind of rotate my hips out of the way when I do it. So I'll get down in the shot, and then if I'm pivoting over, I kind of pivot my hips so that I keep the same distance between the cue and my body. So I kind of pivot over my hips and then shoot from there. I don't even know if I'm still in line. Obviously not, because I looked away from the shot. But yeah, you get in a straight line with the shot. You pivot over for the amount of English that you want, and then you stroke straight through the ball. And that'll give you it's accurate for the vast majority of shots. It works with a low deflection shaft as well, but the pivot point will be much farther back. Like on a standard 314, I think I measured it between 14 and 15 inches, like back here. That's kind of an awkward pivot point. When I switched to using my McDermott Cue of the Year from this cue a while back, I found the pivot point was using it, and it was like back here. So I was like choking way back and pivoting over for the shots. I've since been working on something else that works a little bit better for me. It's a low deflection shaft that actually has a variable, it's really, I don't even know what terms to use. Instead of the pivot point working from, say, here, let me show you of a range from, say, here to here, the pivot point will be a range from here to here. It'll work within that entire range. That's the shaft that I'm developing, or in the process of seeing if I can develop. I've had some limited success with, but I need to make sure that it's repeatable. It works for distance between shots too. It's not like just for certain angles and that was in. It's just that I've tightened up my pocket so much that the bolts don't line up anymore, so the pockets sag down because I can't put the bolts in there to hold them up. So if you hit it too dead center pocket, it'll hit the back and bounce right back out, or it'll come in and around and bounce up and out. But this is just for my practice. I don't really play anyone at my house, so it doesn't really matter. But as long as you're pivoting from the pivot point, like say for instance that you're too close to your shot. Say there's a ball in the way and you have to kind of be closer to your shot. It doesn't allow you to have a farther back bridge. What you can do is you can bridge from here, pivot from this point, like say like this. Pivot from this point for the English that you want, and then just slide your bridge forward to where you want and stroke straight through. As long as you know your cue's pivot point, you can do that. So if you have to have a farther away bridge, you can just pivot for the amount of, once you have your aim line, you can just pivot and come back to where you have to have your bridge. As long as you pivoted from that point, it should work. So if you pivot from, let's say you have to, well, let's put it closer so I can use a farther away bridge. Let's put this ball here so that I have to use a farther bridge. See, the ball is right at the pivot point. So you just bridge over at the pivot point. Find it, pivot it at that point, rotate it back, and then come down and make sure you stroke straight through. And it'll work. Backhand English it can really help as long as you know all of the variables that you have to use. When you have to throw a ball, it's really easy to just be able to pivot over. If you have to, for a bank, if you want to put reverse English on it to get it to go from a different angle. Also, what was I thinking? I was gonna say something else. Shit. I don't remember. There's something else I was going to say about it, but I can't remember it. Let's see. Variable, varying the bridge to the pivot point for needing a bridge in a different place. Assisting with... Oh, yeah, I remember. Like if you need to kick safe and you have to use English to do it, like you don't have an angle to come right at the ball and you want to use inside English, it's really easy because you know that the cue ball is going to hit the point you're aiming at with backhand English. So you aim at the point you want to aim and you put the spin on it that you want to spin, that you want to put, but even though it looks like you're aiming right at the 15 ball, you know you're not going to hit it because backhand English is going to squirt the cue ball over to where you were originally aiming. So that's another aspect of backhand English that makes it a lot easier to use than other than manual adjustment with low deflection shafts. Because then you know that you're not going to hit where it looks like you're going to hit for sure. It also helps, for instance, if you want to throw the 8-ball in, you don't have quite enough angle to make it, and you want to use inside to throw the ball into the pocket, you can, with backhand English, even though you're aiming to hit a little edge of the 15 there, if you're going to make the 8, with backhand English, the squirt's going to throw the ball over. So you can aim just like you were planning on making it. Just like you were planning on making it. And now, see, it looks like you're going to hit the 15. But since you use inside English, stroke through the ball. I had a little bit too much, I couldn't throw it in enough. You aim like you're going to make it, and it looks like you're going to clip the edge of the 15, but when you use the inside English, it squirts over and the inside English throws it into the pocket, if I could ever do it successfully. It's really, really difficult to talk and shoot at the same time. So it makes it easier to do these kind of shots because you can aim just like you're going to regularly make it. And then you just pivot over and the squirt gets it out of the way and throws it in, and the inside English throws it into the pocket.